Hello, everyone. Hello, Colonels. We have a few with us who aren't on video this evening, and that's just fine. The more, the merrier. Even if we can't see your faces, we know that your sweet spirit is here, the Colonel spirit. And Colonel lads. Maybe that's not so politically correct these days. I've been curious about should we still be calling ourselves colonels? Who knows? Yet I do have a little agenda that we're going to be following this evening as the survey that I created has been submitted from about 80 people so far. So that's a good chunk of our classmates. About almost we're getting up to about 500 people in the Facebook group, which is super exciting. You may have seen that I switched the title of the Facebook group. It's now expanded to 98 because some fellow classmates from that year have come on board and are excited. We still are calling in a lot more people from the classes of 92, 93, and 94. 96 is our lead of um classmates. 95
Woo!
second. And yeah, woo. We need some 92 people. And that's the year that 95 had as their seniors for initiation. So I thought that would be cool if someone has connections with class of 92, and I've started reaching out to the few of the 92 who took the survey and who are in the Facebook group to start nudging other 92 classmates to join our effort. I highly encourage you to just brainstorm in your own circle network, go through your yearbooks and remember people, look them up on Facebook or even in internet searches to potentially reach out to them. And then we'll, hey, Miss Angela, nice to
Hey.
see you. And then we'll just keep our numbers rising. It's pretty exciting to get into that Facebook group and see how much it's grown just in 1 month. So that's pretty exciting. Remembering that we're also within next year of our 30 years celebration, we're also honoring 20 years of Katrina and also 250 years of America. So I think those are interesting things to consider when we're coming up with themes or even our charity that we may potentially invite people to contribute to, like have something of a fundraiser. From the survey, people like the idea of having multiple events, so this idea of also having it in late April around Jazz Fest, it did get the highest votes, although there were some other times of years, these ideas about scheduling. So we can kind of talk through that for a moment. I think that is one of the more significant confirmations that we need to make as a steering committee right now so we can actually book these things. And although I'm an advocate for those late April dates, as you can see here, we had some commentary on how people might be more likely to be out of town. Um, Memorial Day or the weekend of Memorial Day could be another option. End of summer has benefit for kids, especially people living out of town. Last 2 weekends in July. usually have more participation. That comment came from, I don't know if she's on our call right now, from someone who had organized other reunions in the past. However, the last call that we had, we thought July, we all agreed that it's too hot in June, July, and August. So that's just something to consider. It might gain more participation, but the weather might have to be something to consider. And then a few people said October, which on our last call, we decided it was too close to the holiday season. How about we open the floor right now specifically for that question of let's just have a little bit more commentary on the time of year. So anybody feel free to just chime in about
It might rain.
What's that?
It might rain between April and May. So we would have to plan on that probably.
It always rains for Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, and I'm just thinking during the summertime, I know different people have different age kids. Like both of mine are in college now. So depending on what time of the summer, it's going to be hard because I know like I have one that's 15 hours away and I have one that's 2 hours away. So we kind of start to get things done early and try to space out like August. So I don't know how many people have younger kids that it might affect with school shopping. And then I know the schools in St. Bernard, they do let in early August. So, I mean, I know people are trying to get vacations in and school shopping in, you know, towards the ending of the summertime. So I don't know how good that would necessarily be.
I feel the same way as I have 3 kids that go back to school in very early August. So it's always chaotic.
The union's usually like traditionally held around the May.
That's what I was thinking.
Because it matches up with when you graduate in
Graduating.
May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's like really typical in April, May dates. So that's not unusual at all to hold it then. But then that brings in a whole nother thing, right?
Right.
Graduating.
People might have people graduating.
Yeah.
You might be having people graduate.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, actually, that is what came up in our last Zoom meeting to avoid graduation season. But I hear you. It does match.
So late April, they really don't start graduating until first, second week of May. Late April would miss the graduation season, but people are still also preparing. But you're going to have something at every time of the year that people are preparing for.
Well, let's go back to this question of it usually rains in the spring. I'm okay with the rain. If we go to Acock Barn, it's mostly covered, but there is some uncovered space that we would be using. However, we could shift it all under
the pavilion.
How does it hold?
A lot. It could.
That's a good question. It does not give me a maximum number of people. So I'm in contact with the person at Acock Barn. So that's definitely something I need to be asking. Is the maximum number of people.
And that's something to consider too, April, is how many people are coming, as by themselves with a couple. Are they bringing family with them, their kids? Is there a limit to how many people that they could bring? That's all, something to consider too. That's going to affect your numbers and cost, and also like how many people can be accommodated at that particular site. And then too, a lot of people have crawfish boils on their own. Perhaps somebody, if they would allow it, if you needed overflow for a tent or something like that, maybe somebody, if they allow it, number one, if you have a backup for a tent, right? And if would somebody be willing to loan a tent, as a backup in case?
That's a really good idea. I just put that in the notes. And to the question of the families and numbers, I included that question on the survey. There was the majority of people said that the daytime family friendly event is something that they wanted. I didn't pose the question as, will they be coming with you? I just said, how many kids are in your family? So it may not be the same answer. So the next survey, that's definitely something to get. Now we'll start refining, also through the conversations on the Facebook group, but surveys are such an easy way to get people's, at least a percentage. We've only gathered 10% of the opinions. So, and we can't force people to take a survey. However, we will know once we start advertising the actual event. I'm assuming we're going to put up the tickets to purchase at the same time we start advertising the event, but that may not be true. We could start advertising the event, see how many people, and then put out the tickets. The other thing that's going to be affecting a ticket price at the AJ Reunion Fund. And one of the questions on the survey was, do you want to donate money to reduce the costs for everyone to have more fun? So and then whatever excess, whatever proceeds, we all can come up with a charity we agree on to give those proceeds to. So that is my idea on the reducing the fees so that more people might attend.
So are we looking at having a daytime event and a nighttime event, or just one event?
That's within this discussion. And
Gotcha. The family friendly one's nice, but I would also like to have just an adult one too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And the survey came back saying that the three main events, everyone wanted the daytime. Then the next most popular was a nighttime, like evening into night. And then the third, which we could merge with the nighttime event, was Sunshine's suggestion of a steamboat.
Yes, I clicked the riverboat cruise one. I love that idea.
Oh yeah, those are so much fun. There's a so they got like a little piano, they have a band, but it doesn't hold a whole lot of people. Is the problem?
So I had a lengthy conversation and I got all of the details on. There are 2 different boats with 4 different options. Automatically, they'll give us a promo code of 10%. We may, with Sunshine's, thank you very much, connection, they may bump it to a 15% discount. Each of them run 7 days a week, 3 times a day. So there's choices there. He suggests the River City boat of New Orleans is actually under construction right now. So when in the spring, it will be a completely remodeled, beautiful new everything. There's 2 private decks, one for 150 to 200 people, the other one for 75 to 80 people. I bet we could get the
150 to 200, yeah.
So that makes it, if we had 150, it's $87.50 per person. However many people on top of that, up to 200, it will reduce the cost for everybody. And then if we have the fundraiser, we may even could get that cost reduced even more. That includes food and bar, and that is a $17,000 minimum, which I think is very doable if we get commitments. Now, if we didn't get that 75 to 80 people or 150 to 200 people, we could go as the general public, which is 45 per person with the cash bar, so no food, and then 100 per person, food and cash bar. So those are all the details for that. Let's have a conversation about, and I already heard two of you saying that you think we could get 200, 150 to 200 people to sign up for that.
Yeah, I think
I
you're going to
think
have
that. I
more
think
than
that would
that.
be pretty. Yeah, I think so too. I think you have more than that.
I think it's doable, absolutely.
You might have to group the years, unfortunately. I guess it just depends. You got to see how many people, are really interested first. But if you get, a significant amount, you might have to group the years by like 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, something like that. But maybe I'm being like ambitious. I don't know.
Now, also, I don't necessarily, I didn't pay attention, but are any of the teachers or the administrators from all of those years, were they included to maybe come, or is it just strictly just all the graduates?
That is a good question. How I posted on the survey was the crawfish boil daytime family friendly thing is when the teachers would be invited. And then the steamboat cruise evening thing would be adults only or students only. But that could be open for debate.
I mean, if we're going to do it, I would definitely make it like a separate, like you're saying, like they get invited to one and like not the other, or, just to kind of to break it up a little bit. I mean, like I still know some of the teachers, and I don't know that I would necessarily, want to hang out and have a few drinks and, party with a lot of them. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, but I mean, I just think having one with and one without wouldn't be a bad option.
I agree.
I agree.
I might try to twerk.
Right. That would be funny if you got on the twerk.
Hey,
They might
you
bust a
never
hip
know.
at this point.
I mean,
I'll be judged by a teacher.
I don't know, Miss Joya. She's still at Chalmette, and she's just as rowdy as she was then as she is now.
Never change.
Too, like if you did have an event, like all right, so if the teachers come to one of the events, more than likely you're probably going to make like a special announcement and like gather everybody around, do a group photo with them or something special, and like, you know what I mean, like the just the layout will be more conducive at one event for that than doing that. I mean, I guess you could open it up to them if you want to come, but like we're not responsible for what you might see. I don't know.
Right. For all we
Especially
know, the
if you
teachers
get the
might be
numbers
worse
up.
than we
Especially
are.
if you hit
I
that
was getting ready to
200.
say some of those teachers get a bit rowdy.
But if you can't hit that 200 mark, to try to get a full crowd for the boat, I mean, it might be a good thing.
I think our next survey needs to ask those questions if we're attempting to have these minimums or maximums of people. We need to start getting those numbers. I don't know who said it, but when you were speaking of, we may have so many that we need to divide into different classes. I don't see us getting that many, but if you have that intuition, I wouldn't want to be personally in charge of those individual organizations if we were dividing this into separate classes. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
totally
think that's something we cross when we figure out how many people will actually commit.
Okay.
No, I may just be ambitious thinking
Okay.
a lot more people are going to participate than well. So,
Well,
Yeah,
I think maybe
that-
like if we had like each year had like, if we knew how many people in our class were like a part of the group and we could see names, there's, we might be able to individually reach out to people who we know that aren't on that list specifically, instead of trying to, look and try to guess who is and who isn't on there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree with
Um,
that wholeheartedly because, some people are looking for that personal connection kind of thing. So, the relational aspect of it, which means, you need more volunteers to help you with that, right? With knowing the numbers of people to call and stuff like that. But that's a great idea, just to make that personal contact kind of thing, like someone that's from your class making that contact kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because
because like,
some might be, I don't know, maybe someone's off put because like, oh, well, this person's from class of 95 reaching out to me. Like, what do I know about them? Like, I don't care. I mean, maybe somebody's like that. I don't know.
well, then like Carrie and I mean, we're in the same class, but there might be some people like she still stays in contact with that I don't, and vice versa. And, those people might also be in contact. So I think it's helpful. Now, if we knew somebody outside of our class year or whatever and mentioned it, but I think if we kind of, look at it from that perspective, that we might cover better ground on getting participation.
We need a phone tree.
yes, I love that idea. Those are interesting to organize. Let me just look here. There's okay, so this is something interesting that we didn't even get into the conversation about the other boat because I was just having my mind on around 200 people. But I think the other boat, and this is actually Sunshine, what
What
you
is that?
proposed was the 40,000 would do the whole boat of the other boat. So if we literally got all the classes to have 100 to 200 people each, we could literally do the whole boat. And then in that case, we could have little sections dedicated to each class where you could go and be with them. But if you knew someone from over in 94, you could go hang out with them. And so I will certainly, why don't we do another survey to get an idea of how many people would actually want to do that? And surveys aren't really the best to get the full feel, but it at least will start the conversation. And then these specific phone calls. So is anybody on this call wanting me to put your name down as a commitment to those phone calls for your class? Or do you
Ugh.
know of someone
I,
who
I want to help, but I just I don't know if I can. Like, I want to help. Let me think about that one.
Carrie? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, let me think
you know,
about it.
I
I'm not
never
saying
pressure.
no. Yeah, no. I don't feel pressured. I really want to do more. Let me ask you this. How many people from each class would you need to fill a boat? How many was it? Did you get a number?
No, because I was just looking at can we even get 200?
I'm just thinking, so 50 people, I know that's probably going to need way more from each class than that, but say if it's just 50 people, that's like 25 couples. That's like nothing from a class of 200. That's not that many people.
And if we can, kind of look over like any social media like connections that we have on there, let's say, okay, who is from my class, and mark it off if they have a spouse or if, different things, and maybe we can individually try to get some kind of a head count maybe to who we could branch out to.
Maybe I kind of did that. I kind of went through my
Did
friends
you?
list and invited everybody I could think of.
Uh-huh.
Friends list, but it didn't hit everybody.
So I'll just give you why I am hesitant to think that we'll be getting that many people is I just went to the 94 last year. It was in the summer. They did class of 94 with class of 94 of Chalmette. And including all of the spouses that may have showed up, they only had about 60, 65 people in one class with spouses with another school. So actually, that was one of the questions that I was going to bring up. If we're wanting to hit higher numbers to do something like this, do we want to go the route of inviting Chalmette High to join us in this whole endeavor? It would be I don't know hardly anybody from Chalmette High. So
Let's see what we get with our people first.
That's
right.
what I was thinking too,
Yeah,
Rob.
I
Let's see what
agree.
we get with our people.
Okay. That sounds good.
That sounds like a lot of
And
work.
Like
no,
I talked to a bunch of Shelmet High people from my class periods, but I'd like to see it stick with us. And if we can't get it
right.
filled, then we'll move to that direction.
Right.
Yeah,
mean,
I
I
think we could.
agree.
I think it would
I
be a
think
good
we'll get
shot worth
enough.
trying. Sorry.
What if
Especially as we have 92 through 98, we could even open it all of the 90s.
I think we could. I really
That
do think we
would
could
sound
get it
like
without just.
for the boat.
Yeah,
He's talking about to sell out the whole boat, right? Just do the whole decade, the whole 90s. Is that what you mean? Or
Well, I mean, there's 4 options, which I didn't even talk to him about the last option of the full boat. So this week I'll have that phone call to see what kind of numbers we're looking at, and then we can put it out to the community. And I love the idea of getting in more personal contact with people, especially if they're not on social media. So if that's something that people are interested in doing, that's probably the thing that we need most help with. Like looking through those who have yearbooks and seeing how to reach out to people. I do have the email list, and something that I am going to be bringing up to y'all today and showing you. I've created a landing page on one of my websites to have all of the information in one location so that people can send it out to others. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But I think I have enough information to wrap this steamboat conversation up, unless anybody else has something to say about it. And
I just have the one comment about the joint Chalmette High AJ thing. To me personally, I would think that's off-putting because we haven't had a proper reunion. So I feel like that kind of undermines what we're trying to accomplish. Like we're trying to do something big. I've been dying to have a reunion, like a proper AJ reunion for years now, and like we haven't gotten like I think I would hope that other people are enthusiastic about like me, and I think it would be a little off-putting, and I would wonder if why some of the low numbers was because they did a joint thing versus by itself. You know what I mean? It's like do you want to go to a party where you don't know people? You know what I mean? Like why am I going to pay for that? So I think that's how some people might, that's the flip side of it. Some people might have looked at it like that.
I hear you. Yeah, I don't like the idea. So thank you for the validation.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
agree too. Just for the simple fact that I mean, yeah, we all know a lot of people from the year we graduated from Chalmette, or when it was St. Bernard or whatever. But like, I mean, a lot of the memories we all shared were amongst our graduating group at AJ. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would be more personal to us to keep it to just AJ people.
I hear you. Good commentary. So it reminded me of one more thing that I had to say about that. If you notice when I was sharing screen, it had the times of the day that it ran, an 11, a 2, and a 6. And so my thought was we
Six.
could You said 6. Someone
Yes.
just said 6.
Kelly said 6.
I hear you. And then we could get something nearby, and I've been looking at little event centers near the landing dock, which means either in the CBD or in the French Quarter. I didn't like the bar that they chose last year. It was way too small and loud. Yet, either offer something that we go immediately to, like this is our bar hop to the next thing, or we just say, hey, this is what we're doing. It's a 6 to 9. It's a 3-hour cruise that includes dinner, and then let everybody just do their own thing, and they'll probably pair off into classes or groups, or maybe we encourage we'll do this multi-class event on the cruise, but help yourself to getting together with your little clique and going somewhere else.
Also, you might want to inquire because I've been on events on the boat where after the cruise, like they docked and we still had the boat.
Oh.
On the dock. Yeah, it's just not cruising.
Oh, that is even more cool. Totally. I will ask.
I don't know if they still do that, but I've been in events where we were on a boat docked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have the boat after docking?
And if we don't have it after docking, can we get it after docking?
Got it. Excellent. So, and maybe that's when we could bring in our own band, which someone, I think it was Stacey Derbyshire, has connections to some cover bands, but that might be cool. Just extend the party basically on the boat. That's an interesting. Yeah, I'll totally ask about that. Okay, so moving right along, let me show you the landing page that is again, it's on my website just because I know how to do websites, but and if any, and it's, I say this with hesitation, as I don't want anybody to think that I'm plugging my own business. I'm only doing this to where everything can be in one website. So if anybody listening to this recording wants to get an AJ URL to have our own website, come on, and I will pass along all of the information for you to build that website if you don't want it to be on my website. But here it is.
Nobody does that. In fact, you know what? Plug away. You're doing all this work, so go for it.
But it will be linked on the recording bio, so you can check it out once we get it live. So at the top, it has our celebration of 30 years. Classes of 92 through 98 are gathering in New Orleans. And it immediately has the survey that you'll be adding to the email list. You'll get updates as well as giving your opinion. All of this stuff I just put as placeholders to show you something today as if it were a reality. So the crawfish boil, I don't know if you know, but one of our 94 classmates, Ryan Izat, has and is doing the boil pro bono. All we have to do is pay for the food and the propane. His company is Cajun Dads, and he's worked at Aycock Barn before. We'll also have vegetarian family pricing. And like I said about the AJ Reunion Fund, the more people donate to the fund, it will reduce the cost for everyone. But as of now, I think our budget, that without any fundraising effort, the crawfish boil, if you're eating crawfish, not a vegetarian, or family pricing, would be about $33. And Ryan was trying to get it down to $20 per person. So we'll continue having that conversation, especially about the AJ Reunion Fund. And all of this stuff, just placeholders for the Riverboat Cruise and Jazz Fest. Jazz Fest, if you go, the main idea is for us to get one of those polls, and like they do at Jazz Fest, to know where your tribe is at and have fun together. And if anybody is doing an event for their own class, we'll advertise it for you. And we got a commentary on several commentaries actually on about having an event on the North Shore. So I've been looking into the brewery and other event spaces that we could consider. But for now, I know that
We
they're
have a class one of the class of 97 actually works at the brewery.
Okay. Do you know that person's name?
Todd Simmons.
Oh, it's Todd. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, if we wanted to do something over on the North Shore, but as of now, I know that they're having a comedy night, which I love, but I'll contact Todd. And then I'm actually gearing up to host a women's workshop in Abita at the Center for Healing and Transformation that time of year. And then here is all about the AJ Reunion Fund. I am on a board that has a nonprofit that they have agreed to allow for us to use the nonprofit to have tax deductible receipts. So 100% of the donations going directly to the AJ Reunion Fund. Oh, and Angela, I checked in and now have Venmo and have created a Zeffy campaign. So it's all 100% free, and you have 3 different ways. I'm leaning towards only putting Zeffy on because it's no fees, but we'll. At any rate, the idea about any of our, I call it overflow funds. I told you about this earlier. As we raise the money, reducing the cost for people to enjoy our events, if we have extra funds, we can all choose a charity to support. So I've created a form to submit your idea for charity. Another idea that I think it was Shasty Nilsson who first gave it to us, a AJ Memorial. So I have now a form for people to input, people who have transitioned from our planet in the last 30 years. And we'll do something, I'm thinking, at the crawfish boil, maybe some sort of kiosk with pictures, or maybe a slideshow. And I'll be updating this list here that's on the screen. Some of you can't see it, but we have, it's also on the website. So anybody who has people that we would like to honor, teachers, mentors, you can just share their name with me and get me their pictures. And I have this form where you can upload pictures. We haven't talked about a talent show, but maybe during the after party of the cruise, we could get karaoke going, or if we wanted the talent show at the Acock Barn, like the talent show could be the entertainment for the Saturday. The AJ charity, I already told you about. Any excess proceeds, we can choose a charity to support. And then t-shirt design. The last Zoom, we thought of submitting ideas for t-shirts. So here's a form here where you can submit your design, and our classes will take a vote on the most popular. And I have a Printify shop. So it's a print on demand that people can place their own orders. And then I was speaking about the yearbooks earlier. It may not have gotten on this recording, but if you're following the Facebook group, I think it's James Steelberg and Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, I forgot your last name. Yeah,
Dahlberg.
working with Dittos of reproducing our yearbooks. So there's a form here. It's not the order form. However, you can get on the list to give us an idea, because the more people want, the less they will cost. And then I have a timer here for our the date's
countdown.
approaching fast. So it's a countdown for our, and then all the links that were just above. So I'm not gonna send this out just yet, because I want to call about the riverboat, get a little bit more information about that, and then we'll move forward. And that website will be blasted to many people. Anybody have anything to say about the website? Any commentary that I?
Great. No, it looks really good. You did a good job.
Awesome. Those are fun.
And I like the idea of Jazz Fest because it's one of those things you don't have to organize. Somebody just got to bring a sign, say, here we are. Everybody just shows up, right? So nobody has no money coming out your pocket, your own pocket. It's just, so I like the idea of Jazz Fest for sure.
I do too. That is interesting because there is a discount for groups, but it's only like a $5 discount. I'm like, I don't know if I want to put another piece of organization on my plate for a $5 discount. So
Yeah, no,
we can all purchase our own.
Right.
Yeah.
Make that one easy.
However, it would be kind of cool if our pole flag thing, if someone had some memorabilia like our Colonel mascot or some, the costume, like we could put the whole Colonel, the Colonel head on the pole.
I don't know. You're asking a lot. That might be a reach.
It may have gotten blown away in Katrina too.
Exactly.
So.
You might not want the Colonel back after Katrina.
Right. Moldy Colonel. Anyway, I love that idea though. And I know we have some creative people that could do something like that. I'll be going to Jazz Fest it sounds like we're pretty committed to that time, and actually that was one of the things that I wanted to get done on this call today, is to really nail down the dates. So if we can do that on this call, or should I wait and do another survey and get more feedback? Anybody have any?
You never get everybody to agree. Somebody's always going to want a different date, so you're never going to get everybody to agree on it. But it would be easier if you settled it today, right? But I don't know if that's.
It would.
I would take a poll with everybody here and see what they think, because I'm all for the Jazz Fest dates.
Well, I know I see some people dropped off, but we do have 5 people in the house to make that decision for us. Raul,
Have they put together a schedule yet that we know, like who's playing? Like, because that might be a factor. Like some people are like, oh, who's playing on this day?
It don't come out till later in the year.
Honestly, I don't look at that, because I like going anyway, and I'm going to find something that I like there, even if it's just being there.
So the 2024 cubes didn't get released till March.
We're definitely not going to wait on figuring out a date until March. I think, especially if we're trying to book the event centers and the steamboat, we need to get our dates secured. Do we want to make a decision about this?
I say roll with it. That's just me.
Roll with
I
it?
think too.
I
I think
say-
if you just wait too long and you
Because
just gonna
you-
get more
You can't,
contention.
yeah, as
Yeah.
long as much as you want to make everybody happy, you can't make everybody happy, and everybody's gonna have something to do on this weekend or next weekend, and school graduations like we talked about, and vacations, and schools in, schools out. And look, it might affect me down the line, but I don't know. But if somebody wants to go, they're really gonna go. I
Right.
don't know.
I agree.
Make your way around St. Bernard. I think you'd be all right.
Yeah.
I think giving everybody like a set like time is a lot better than asking for options, because people will get too wishy-washy. And if you just say this is when it's going to, be, people have to, say either yes or no. They can't say, oh, well, if it was this, maybe I'd like this one better. So I think cutting that option down to one or two, I
Yeah.
think would get the most results.
Look, I'm all for what you're doing. I think it's good to have a bunch of things. You're gonna get some people that want to go to some things and not go to others.
Mhm.
But I think if we want to get the most people there, we kind of focus on one event. I'm not saying we don't have a couple events, but
I'm pretty enthusiastic about helping organize this.
Thank you. We need it. We need help.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't know how much I could commit, I really don't, but I just wanted to jump on, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to jump on was to thank you for this.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
awesome.
It's huge. It's huge.
It is huge.
And
So
I know,
fun.
like, I'll try and do what I can do.
Yeah, whoever said Jazz Fest Thursday, Riverboat Friday, Crawfish Boil Saturday, and if anybody wanted to do anything on their own, like Sunday brunch, let
yeah,
it.
that's something on their own. I just think I think we might get mixed feelings on that Sunday, especially people's coming in
Yeah,
town.
I agree.
Just not having anything formally organized and
Right.
let people do their
And
own.
look, we can all say, hey, we're all going to meet at the park Sunday morning or Sunday noon or whatever, but it won't put anybody on the hook financially for Sunday. And,
Yeah.
we have to get a big number for Sunday for a boat or anything like that.
And Thursday's a smaller crowd at Jazz Fest too, so it is mostly locals, so you're not gonna get all the tourists. There might be a better day, maybe not a better day to get some numbers, a number of people to show up, but overall it might be a better experience on the Thursday.
Yeah, I like that idea. Okay, so Thursday Jazz Fest, Friday Riverboat, Saturday Crawfish Boil. Bam, done.
And I would
Sounds like a
advertise
winner.
that the Saturday is your main event. I would like really
Yes.
highlight that as the emphasis. And like if you're planning on doing T-shirts, you're planning on giving out like the yearbook copies, like make that your main event. Like, hey, you want to be here for this. This is like the day. And that way, like, I kind of think of it like voting, right? Like you have like third person or fourth person on the ballot, and it just kind of muddies the water, right? So I would definitely focus on that. Like Saturday is like, you don't want to miss that day. So I agree with Raul on like the tickets and stuff like that. Some people, some people are in a different financial circumstance that, like, if they were going to pick one, like, which one would it be? And Saturday, you want to focus on that.
Yeah, well, the riverboat's going to be higher anyway, and hopefully that fundraising will get that Crawfish Boil ticket down to maybe even $10 to $15.
Yep. I agree
Okay,
with you.
so that feels good. We have,
Made a decision. Woo!
all right, y'all. Well, keep us in your good thoughts and keep magnetizing those people, especially if they're not on social media. Send around all of the surveys and forms and email lists. And just for you who are on here or listening to this, it's ajfmhs.reunion@gmail.com. Get on our email list.
Real fast, did you get a like representative for each class, or no? You have not got that yet.
Not yet. Not standing commitments as of today. So that's something this week I'll put out a Facebook post to see if I can get some commitments.
Might help to know like what are the expectations for
Right.
the job,
Well,
you
I
know?
think mostly that's a good question. I've been asking myself. I would probably say keeping up with the engagement of the Facebook posts and then working with me for social media. If I had a social media manager who could do all of the, if they have an Adobe Express account or a Canva account to make these little
I
postable
got Canva.
flyers.
I got-
Are you stepping up to that role?
I'll help with that. Like I manage a couple sites right now,
Great.
but I can help with that.
Excellent. I'm putting your name down and all. There several people said that they would help with marketing. Sunshine, you were one of them in the survey.
Yeah.
That I have an email draft. I wanted to have this meeting first, but I have an email draft to the people who said that. So we'll see what comes out of that next conversation. But
All
I
right,
think
and I'll try to gather phone numbers as much as I can, if that would help you. But like I said, my amount, I would need help from maybe people
Yeah.
who are in New Orleans, especially.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you being here, and the more the merrier. Whatever happens, I'm good with.
I volunteer, Mindy.
I was going to say, if I need to step up for 97, I can step up for 97.
All right.
Yay!
I'll be in touch.
You know, if you need people to make calls, so that could be like another like assistant role. You know, how many positions would you like to have for each class, you know, to divide that up? So it's not like that's where some people get intimidated because
Right.
it's like, wow, you want one person to do all of this. So, you know, if you have like a goal, like I could use like this many people, you know, for something like that. But like Sunshine said, like, you know, having a list, how will we get like numbers to call? You know, I'd be willing to help, you know, make phone calls, but like we would somehow need to collect the numbers to text and or call people.
Mhm.
Well, the email list is 100, but what I'm hearing, we already have their attention. What we're looking for are people who aren't on the email list and who aren't on social media.
Once you update that page, like when you send out the next thing, like besides the email list, won't we include yeah, like when you ask for that email address, include their phone number. Like that way we have it in case you get this one that don't check emails or whatever. Or like maybe like I don't know. I'm just thinking about how we do put things that other places would deal with. Give me like 5 names of people from your class or something like that you still in touch with, that maybe we can reach out to or something like that.
That's a good idea. I'm right now thinking about how I would format a form. And a good question is, how do you like to be corresponded with? Do
Right.
you check
That's
social
a good
media? Do
one.
you check your email, or do you want a text or phone call? If you want a phone call, give us your freaking phone number. I didn't put that on the original one because I didn't want to be so intrusive. But I hear you now that some people like having text.
You should put just
What?
like that. Give me your freaking number.
Ideally, I would be working with a team that could take that and stick with the conversation and me not have to direct every
Okay.
post and like take
I
it
see.
on as, oh, I know what's going on. This needs to happen. Let's say 3 days. I'm right now, I only have time to do it. I think I've been doing it once a week.
Okay.
But we could also take that, put it in the email, put it in Facebook page, Facebook group.
Send me some of your logo. Send me whatever logos you got, so I have something to go with the logos.
Yeah. Okay.
And Angela too, or me and Angela can send it to each other, whatever. That way we have something to go. And maybe we'll make some generic things to go with stuff that's coming up, or announcements that's coming up, or meetings coming up, or whatever.
Well, and then there's several other, like 10 other people who said on the survey that they could help with marketing. So if we could actually just get on a team meeting and strategize, it would reduce the amount of effort for everybody. Right? Like we could rotate weeks or the other thing that I've been really good of, we have a whole folder with all of this information that I can give everybody access to, that then you can see and not have to, and then I could just maybe put an email out to the team saying, okay, this week this needs to happen. And then the other thing, you asked that question, Angela, of like, what can we do? Keeping up with the engagement just by, like, I got on Chat GPT and said, what are some good prompts to keep social media engagement? And it gave me like 20 ideas of like each week. So that's how I got the idea last week of doing what were you in your freshman senior initiation? And it was this awesome thread about, wacky tacky turkeys and slugs and so it's like little things like that to keep the enthusiasm up in the group. And it's not just posts about updates, right? It's keeping the engagement, which I'm good with, but if I had other people doing that kind of stuff, that would be cool. So I can send you the Chat GPT list, and then like once every 2 weeks, we just, like my next one, I was gonna say, hey, we like supporting local businesses from our classes. Is there a business that you've created since we saw each other? And then it would be a whole thread on people. And it may even lead to income generation for people. I don't know. Who knows?
Sponsorships and stuff for some of the events.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I was going to suggest too, April, since you're trying to reach people that maybe have been unreachable, or maybe their name changed and we don't know what their new name is, stuff like that. What about like even on like Facebook? I know Facebook a little bit more than Instagram, but there's different groups on the North Shore. There's different groups on the South Shore. That some of these groups will allow you to post things, community event type stuff. And so maybe like if we come up with a good advertisement Canva type thing, right? And you throw the link on there, hey, anyone from these classes from AJ, we're having this, obviously this is Louisiana we're talking about, but those are some other social media areas to promote that.
That is
Um,
a really
I don't
good
know how many
idea.
people, I don't know how many people see it, but maybe that's like it's throwing a net. And then two, I don't know if everybody in St. Bernard Parish has been communicated with, but perhaps there's like community links through St. Bernard Parish to also, maybe they would give permission. Hey, you could post this thing because like we sympathize, or we don't have a high school anymore, right? So they might allow for a posting of, hey, we're trying to coordinate this reunion. Could you post this? Would you be willing to, allow us to post this on your community site or do it for us,
Shelmet High's billboard, electronic billboard, they advertise reunions.
One of our people in our survey said she's the one that does that. So I have her on my marketing list. So those are really great ideas. So our journalist in the house, Miss Sunshine, maybe if you could you and I could work together to get your information to write a newspaper article.
Ooh.
For
I can voluntold you to do that.
I
a
haven't done
little,
it at
how
all,
long?
so thank God.
Yeah, and we can put it into the local newspaper.
Yeah, the St. Bernard and maybe even the New Orleans. I mean, or maybe even North Shore. Just blast it out. Who knows? We'll pick it up, but definitely St. Bernard. Well,
I
those
don't know. There's a bunch of different Facebook pages people have, like they'll eat, and then like just other ones that there's for down here that I'm sure something can get go to one of the admins and see if they could throw something out there.
Yeah, that's an excellent, great brainstorming. I love that. Yeah, that's what we need in that marketing department. So we'll have another, even if it's a email thread. We don't necessarily have to have another meeting about it, but if that's necessary too, maybe if we just had one strategizing meeting and get people on board of roles, then that would take care of the next few months of us doing a really good job. I think plugging it now will be very beneficial before all of the holiday season starts coming up, because then they have something to look forward to in the spring. Okay. Well, we got a lot done today. I'm feeling like it's good time to be complete for this evening's call. Is everybody good?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for showing up and being enthusiastic. Go team.
All right.
Thank
see
you
y'all
Bye,
soon.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.